Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my live stream. Decision 2024. I apologize for keeping some of you waiting. My blood sugar was low and I had to eat a Snickers, quite literally. How's everyone doing on this fine Monday? Many a scream, many a ree has been heard across the internet regarding our presidential nominee, Chase Oliver. So I'm here to discuss it a little bit, share some juicy goss with all of you, share my opinions on it. Hopefully StreamYard doesn't freeze up on me a whole lot as it has been doing. That is a thing, and I don't know how to fix it. And I just want to thank Ethan Mathis for getting me a better microphone, which I still haven't used yet because I had to buy a soundboard to go with it, and I have no idea how the hell to do any of that. So I am going to do it now that convention is over. I will be able to fix all of those things. I have been recovering. I am low energy Jeb, lots of fatigue after the convention. Leading up to it, I was injecting myself with NAD plus and B12, and I am due for another B12 shot to get over my Jeb energy problem. So let's dig into it. I have a lot of things to share with you all. I want to talk strategy. I want to talk crybaby quitters. I want to talk crybaby people who are in denial about the data that they probably, didn't bother to look into before they started crying on the internet. All kinds of really good stuff and how I piece it all together. And I think it's going to come together extremely well. And I'm extremely excited about the 2024 presidential race. Some people, my friends, discuss the convention on their podcasts and shows and didn't bother reaching out to me. I feel like Jim Carrey crying about not getting an Oscar for The Truman Show. But that's okay. Let me break it down from my perspective. Let me hide these comments that are just so totally great, but distracting. Hide your beautiful comments and I'll come back to them. How did we get to Chase? Let's unpack the whole thing. And I'm not going to badmouth Chase on this, and I'm not going to badmouth Mike Tremont. I'm really not going to talk about Tremont because a lot of that is more personal. But the Chase Oliver stuff does need to be discussed because it's all over the internet. There's a lot of backlash. So we are going to get into that. But Tremont is a whole nother can of interpersonal worms that I'm not going to open up and spill all over the place today. How did we get to Chase? Dave Smith was our chosen candidate, and he's owned this publicly, so I'm not dragging Dave any more than he's dragged himself. He was going to run. He announced it publicly in a very teasing way, but multiple times. We had conversations about it behind the scenes, and he decided he could not. After, a year of us being deadlocked. And one of the things that happened as a result of Dave announcing is other people who might have shown interest, Justin Amash for one, decided not to run. Joe Jorgensen, another. People were like, you know what? Dave Smith is running. We're not going to be able to compete. We're not going to go there. And they just found other things to do, and they had stuff going on in their lives. So when the Dave Smith rug got pulled out from under us, it left a giant vacuum. And we were not able to fill it quickly. I also, I want to separate myself from the MC board. I'm in frequent communication with them, but I'm not on the Mises PAC board of directors. I resigned from that position once I became elected in 2022. But I do talk to them, and I communicated with them about this problem. And we were scrambling trying to fill it. I reached out to people on my own, and I would let them know, this person, I told them, they seemed to interested. Plenty of people were interested, probably politely interested, but no one jumped on it. And I think that's for a variety of reasons. I don't think that people who have really successful careers, I don't think they get much out of this. I think with the state of the party, it's a little bit of a liability. You get tons of hate from weirdos on the internet. You get tons of hate from people at conventions and meetings. People behave in a very stuck up manner. They can be very tone deaf, demanding, entitled. Not everyone is, but it is something that our candidates have dealt with. And, there was a guy, I can't remember his last name. It was Gene something. He was a radio host, talk radio host back in the 90s, before podcasts, way back in the olden times. And he basically did the same thing, like he jumped in, he was in the race and he stepped out. And people were like, why did you do that? And he's like, look, this is not going to benefit me. So it would behoove us to maybe behave ourselves a little bit better. Now, I'm not putting all of the blame on the members of the party. There were a lot of complications here. It really sucked. Dave knows that. It's a whole thing. But that is one element of the story that I think gets overlooked. And I think it's a learning lesson for all of us, is that we need to treat some of these people a little bit better when they come into, our Thunderdome. Now, there are also plenty of people in our sphere who make it their agenda to treat people like Dave Smith, Tom Woods, or other thought leaders like trash. And it's because those are trash people, and that's all that they can do. And it is unfortunate that garbage people have infiltrated our movement so aggressively. I think a lot of them are feds. I'm going to try to push another FOIA request here soon and get help from someone who was referred to me, who is an expert in that. Major thanks to Tara Reid, who has dealt with a lot of Fed stuff as well. Oh no, like another leftist that Angela's fraternizing with. Yeah, I don't hate people on the left. Not real excited about people on the left trying to infiltrate our party and take it over and drag it to the left. But people who are on the left with economics and other issues, I work really well with them on single issue coalitions outside the party, yada, yada, yada. I know some of you think I'm the evil communist for working with commies. But then you want to promote communism within the party. It's a fascinating dichotomy there. Fascinating. Yet again, another reason that is challenging for us to find a nominee who is willing to do this. And to Chase's credit, he's willing to put up with all of this crap. And so props to him for that. So how did we get to Chase? We've got Michael Rechtenwald, who decided he was going to run. So major thanks to him. He took all the public hits and beatings from the loser brigade and then the people who are our critics, and hating on us. He also took a lot of abuse from people who are a little bit more on the Mises side because he's a former leftist. Reminder, not everybody is born a libertarian. I think it is an incredible redemption story arc to have someone running. And it's also a very unifying thing who used to be a literal socialist, communist academic who has an authentic come to Jesus libertarian moment and goes so far as to have a podcast associated with the Mises Institute. That's fantastic messaging, because that shows that we genuinely are welcoming. And to run someone out because they were a former leftist and they've had an authentic conversion, I think is a really bad move. And I apologize to Michael Rechtenwald that he had to experience any of that crap. It's a really bad move. Dave is from the left. Michael Bolden is from the left. A lot of our great thought leaders are people who used to come from the political left. So we need to treat people with a little bit more class when they convert to libertarianism in a very authentic way. Convention rolls around. Here we go, right? And there was a lot of things I did behind the scenes to make the convention really awesome. And some people are still screaming and they're very, very mad. Oh no, I froze. Let's try refreshing and see if I can get it back to we're going to reload. I might disappear for a second. Here we go. We're back. So Friday, business starts. The seating of the delegates. What happened? Why did we seat these people? So the Michigan people, it was a wobbler. Not everybody was in agreement on whether or not the notorious Michigan people could be sat. I ended up seating them. I did not want to seat them, but I did it because it was probably the right thing to do according to parliamentary procedure. And I had 3 different, certified parliamentarians I was consulting with, and they were all split. And some of them were changing their minds in real time. Very frustrating, very challenging for me to deal with. Washington and Oklahoma, total violation of their state bylaws, which is a violation of our national bylaws. I ruled it was not in order to seat them. And then people appealed my ruling. And so I said, okay, you appeal the ruling of the chair. So they found a cheat code to make it 2/3 instead of 7/8 to seat them. What I should have done is I should have said, I'm not entertaining your ruling. like I did later. My concern was that the appetite in the room, that there was so much tension that I would lose complete control of the room and it would be just a complete disaster. And they would proceed forward anyway, in spite of a bylaws violation ruling I made, which wouldn't be good for the party. And it was a difficult call for me to make. And I made it. And looking back on it, I'm still not 100% sure it was the right call to make, but I did it. And yes, it is possible for me to say, I don't entertain your appeal. It's BS. It's in violation of the bylaws. We're moving on in business. Whether or not the room will actually proceed forward with business and just be salty about it is another message entirely. Some of you will probably remember there was one very salty member of LP Texas constantly on one of the front microphones. And he did this wild stunt at one point where he was screaming and jumping around, orders of the day, and like yelling at me. And he had several autistic screeching moments like that. I'm very embarrassed for that individual, but it is what it is. And as awkward and weird as it is to have one guy do it, imagine if you have half of the delegation doing it. So we sat a bunch of people that shouldn't have been sat. It was against the bylaws. And that sucks. And that totally inflated hater numbers, people who were very anti-Rechtenwald. So right out of the gate, we got a problem, right? Friday business was very ugly. We spent the entire day on credentials challenges. It was hideous. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. spoke. I didn't really even see except like the last 10 minutes of it. And then we had a whole bunch of, we had caucusing. We had our vice presidential debate, which was awesome. And then we had Vivek Ramaswamy debate Clint Russell, which was awesome. And then things all of a sudden fixed. We were back on an upswing. We have never had a vice presidential debate that well attended in the history of the party. We have never had a major contender from another political party come and debate one of our candidates. Incredible. And for those of you who want to scream and cry that it shouldn't have happened at our convention, it should have happened at a debate, I invite you to show me any time where any major debate has ever happened where we've attended and we've been invited. It doesn't exist. So I would humbly request you to stop trying to gaslight, defraud, and lie about the situation. We, prior to this convention, have never been invited to major party debates. And until this political stunt happened, we probably never would have. It was the right thing to do. It was a tremendous amount of good press for us. And I was right and you were wrong. So go reflect on your life. It was an awesome event. Saturday, we were supposed to have a bylaw, or not a bylaws. We were supposed to have an amended agenda. I worked with the state chairs for 3 weeks, and unfortunately, someone from California came up and made the wrong stupid amendment. We were supposed to have our presidential nominee do a rebuttal right after Donald Trump spoke. But that person chose failure. She was like, I want to fail. I just want to fail. So we didn't. So we made the most of it. I did a straw poll. Staff put together the straw poll in about 30 minutes. There were not supposed to be any duplicates. And they found a couple of ways that people had gamed the system and duplicated the votes. So what I did was I pulled the top 3 vote getters from the straw poll. I'm sorry, I should say online poll. The straw poll, probably people are thinking of the debate purchases and or the donations. I'm not phrasing this very well. The poll that we did Saturday was to say, out of the presidential debates, who do you want to see give a rebuttal to Donald Trump? And we pulled the top 3 since it looked like they were gamified. And Chase Oliver had the highest votes. And the percentage was not consistent with representation there in the room. There were more people in the room. I'm sorry, there were more people voting than there were Chase Oliver supporters in the room. And that is reflective on the votes for Sunday. But that's okay, because I told people, like, it's not restricted to the delegates. You can go ahead and vote. I did say you can only vote once, though, and that was gamified. And I think it was gamified, actually, in all of the top 3, but we saw more of it in Chase. And that's okay. We just said, you know what? We're just going to let the top 3 do it. So we did. The Donald Trump talk, I think, went mostly well. Media-wise, it went really well. I wish people had been a little bit less savage and rude, considering that he said he would put a libertarian in the administration and he would free Ross Ulbricht. I think some of our people don't know how to behave themselves and they enjoy shooting themselves in the foot and they love irrelevance and they don't want to take wins. And maybe some of them were also a little bit drunk. I did say booing was okay. I was definitely annoyed with the screeching Antifa behavior of a handful of our members. But to his credit, Donald Trump took it in stride. He rolled with it. He was friendly and pleasant to me afterwards, and I'd say it was a huge success. And then our candidates got up and did a rebuttal, and Michael Rectenwald did not perform very well. And so that definitely impacted his vote on Sunday. And it is what it is. And he's not the only candidate that's happened to, And ultimately, that's his decision. It's up to him. The consuming of a cannabis product and whether or not that impacted his performance. But it is not my choice. It is not anyone else's choice but his. And I think that he fully owns that. And I appreciate his ability to do that publicly. So Sunday, the day, no bylaws, no platform, almost no LNC elections. We conducted business from 9 a.m. to 1 a.m. I think that is like 16 hours. It's basically a 16-hour meeting that I presided over. And to my credit, I did not end up with Alex Merced hair by the end of the day. So, although I was eating pizza at the microphone. Major thank you to C-SPAN for staying and covering the whole thing. I really appreciate that. There were stall tactics, and I've seen screenshots of it, so I know there were, from Jonathan Casey and the Classical Liberal Caucus and a handful of other people, specifically Texas, stalling us out as long as possible. By the time I went to move to collect their ballots, and I'm looking over there and they look like they're still collecting ballots. So maybe they were just making a good show of it, but by the time I moved to close voting, they had their last ballot up. I think it was like 7 rounds. I was very tired and I don't even remember all the rounds of voting. Very fun to do that. I did it all while standing. You guys were sitting, mostly standing. So Mises numbers dropped. People went home. Of course, I advised everyone, stay till Monday, stay till Monday, stay till Monday. A lot of people did not, though. People were like, oh, I'll just stay till Sunday afternoon. It was stay until Monday, and they didn't do it. So it was a war of attrition. A lot of Mises people left, and the Chase numbers just drowned them out, and then Mike Termott endorsed Chase Oliver. And that's his choice to do that. And so that pulled some votes, and people pressed me what would happen if we had NOTA. And I made a tactical error. I should have said, you will have no candidate unless you amend the bylaws. And I was very tired, and I should have said that because we had amended the bylaws on the fly earlier, right? To fix the messed up delegates. Oh man, let's refresh again and see if we can fix this. What is happening? StreamYard, you suck. There we go. So Chase won in the final round, and there were a whole lot of people who still noted. And I respect that. You get to do whatever you want, So we have Chase Oliver as our presidential nominee, and we have Mike Termott as our vice presidential nominee. And now we are going to deal with that as a party. Let's see. Do I want to talk about my backroom deals with the Trump campaign, with the Kennedy campaign? Maybe we could do that one another time, or with other candidates. Let's just run through them. So there were so many rumors. I've been talking with the Kennedy campaign since July. Why, you ask? Well, because they were interested in us. And it's my job to know what the hell is going on. So I think I did a good job of that. And they jumped in at the very last minute, even though I had cautioned them, do not do that. Do not do that. If you're going to jump in, just do it now. Just own it, because it's going to be chaos and ugly, and it's not going to happen if you do it at the last minute. They did it at the last minute. I respect that, though. We have to stay on good terms with them because we may need help with ballot access. Sometimes, petitioners can work together with multiple petitions in their hand in states where people can sign more than one. Virginia, by the way, if you are in the state of Virginia, you can sign more than one nominating petition for presidential candidates who are trying to get on the ballot. So keep that in mind. Afro Man. I invited Afro Man. Actually, he reached out to us, which I really appreciated. So we had him at an after party. That was really cool. I also invited Jill Stein and Cornel West. They both had other obligations. If we had pulled together a debate, an actual debate, Jill would have joined us, but she was collecting signatures in New York, which is very tough. So, I understand that. Um, who else? Thomas Massey decided to show at the last minute, which was really awesome. I appreciated that. Let's pull that up later. What else? The Trump campaign. Yes, the rumors are true. I have been speaking with them for months, but maybe not directly, so it's not incorrect what I said to the media about how I wasn't sure, you don't know if it's official until right down to the wire. But there were definitely, there was interest in trying to get our votes. And so, it's my obligation to know what the heck is going on, to be in the driver's seat. And so things don't get out of control. So I did, invite them to come speak at our national convention. And during the course of that, one of the things that I said libertarians needed to see that was really huge was to see Ross Ulbricht freed, and that we also really wanted to see Julian Assange freed. And I didn't get into Ed Snowden very much because he is free right now. And I want to talk about the most impactful things that can be done by the Trump administration. And they've been very interested in hearing about Ross, talking about it. One thing that did really get on my nerves was in the rebuttal to Trump's talk. One of the things Chase said was he'd probably never heard Ross's name until today. And that's not correct. To his credit, we started talking about this. I mentioned Ross's name to his campaign team back in December. And I know that the messages had been passed back and forth to him. He does know who Ross Ulbricht is. He knows the whole story. It's the same, is it the same court or the same district that just convicted him? So I've spelled out quite a bit there. He seems to be very sincere and interested in freeing Ross. Now it's June, the election's in November. I don't know what the deep state is going to do to him in the meantime. I hope that they don't do anything horrible to him. I would really like to see him be able to get to the general election. But, if he is elected, I do think that he is going to free Ross Ulbricht. And I think that's really awesome. And we should give him credit for that. We talk about being a spoiler. A lot of people in the party who I don't necessarily agree with on everything ideologically really lean into the spoiler effect. And here we are doing the same thing, except I'd reframe it. We're not spoilers, we're fixers. We are fixing the Trump campaign. We are moving the Overton window in the direction of liberty. He came out and asked for our votes. He told us he was going to put a libertarian in a cabinet position. He said it publicly. It's not something that was told to me, behind the scenes. It was public. He said he was going to get rid of the Department of Education. And he said he was going to free Ross Ulbricht and a whole bunch of other stuff. He said there were not going to be any schools with vaccine mandates, like federally funded schools. He looked at our list of concerns, our top 10 list, and he talked about almost all of them. That's a huge win. It's a huge win. And we have to give people credit when we tell them this is what libertarians want and they do it. So let's take that lesson, right? You don't have to vote for him. You don't have to support him, but give people credit where credit is due. I think that's the correct thing to do. Always, no matter who it is. If Joe Biden had taken up on my offer, and I did send it to someone directly in his campaign team and didn't get anything more than received, if they'd taken it up our offer and he freed Ross Ulbricht tomorrow, what would we be doing? We have to give him credit. We can't just be mad that not everything is, libertopia and that kind of crap. We have to operate within the framework of reality. So let's try to learn that lesson. Donald Trump and my endorsement. A lot of suspicion. People think I'm going to endorse Donald Trump. Well, I'm not. I haven't endorsed Donald Trump, but he has endorsed us. Donald Trump said he's going to put a libertarian in a cabinet position. He came out and spoke to us. He said he's a libertarian. He has basically endorsed us. And so in return, I endorse Chase Oliver as the best way to beat Joe Biden. Get in, loser. We are stopping Biden. That's what I think. That's what I think this campaign is about. People are going to they're going to scream. One way or the other, you're going to be mad. I think we got to do everything we can to kick Joe Biden's ass And one of the best ways to do that is to support Chase Oliver and go hard in the paint for him in blue states. I know. It's like a total clown show thing. Well, I'm 100% here for that clown show. We got to do it. We got to do it to get Ross free. Now, those of you who are in red states who want to support Chase, and there are some of you like really want to support him, you're not begrudgingly putting him on the ticket. That's entirely up to you. That is your choice as a state affiliate. I'm not going to put my thumb on the scale. I'm not going to do anything to hurt the Chase Oliver campaign. Won't do it. Going to work very aggressively, specifically in blue states, to make sure he has the support that he needs from the national party. There are some red states who are very pissed off about it, and they think that the branding of this campaign is really going to hurt them. And I'm going to leave that up to them to decide how they deal with it. But I encourage people to try to use the Chase Oliver campaign to pull protest votes from the left. Chase is a much better candidate than Joe Biden. Chase understands how government spending props up forever wars. He gets it. He is a libertarian. I know you're screaming he's a gay communist and all these insults. He definitely has some views I don't agree with. I don't think he's a literal communist, though. I do work with literal communists, and there is quite a difference. But the data, and I have seen the data because we have a couple of people in the Libertarian Party who work at companies that do polling data, and they have sent me data privately, and I will be sharing some of it with the Ballot Access Committee or the Executive Committee tomorrow night confidentially. Since it's not supposed to be released publicly, it's a favor to me. But the data does not support that Chase is going to pull from Joe Jorgensen voters in red states or independents or right. It's going to Kennedy. It's going to Trump. A little bit of it is even going to Jill Stein. So we do need to help Chase in blue states in particular. I think there's going to be some ramifications for ballot access, and that's something that we need to discuss and have very candid conversations about. And I do not think that it benefits anyone in this party or our candidates to lie about what the polling data looks like right now. Oh, StreamYard, right at this moment. Let's reload. I am not going to lie to the members. I'm not going to defraud people. I'm not going to tell them that their donations for ballot access go to X, Y, and Z when they do not. We need to be brutally honest if we're going to be a successful political party. And it's my job as a leader to eat that shit sandwich and move things forward. And that's what I'm going to do. It's going to be a tough ballot access year. And it's not all Chase's fault either, because the Kennedy campaign makes it hard across the board. It doesn't mean we should just give up, but it means that we need to be careful with how we spend our money. And I know that's going to make some of you angry, mostly people who already hate my guts. You're the ones who are going to be angry with me, but you would be angry no matter what I do. I can't please you. So instead of trying to please the people who hate me, I'm going to do what I think is the moral right thing, which is to tell the truth and be forthright about the situation and support our candidate in every way I can and try to get Ross Ulbricht free. Now, if you hate the Chase Oliver campaign and you're disgusted and whatever, and you think he's a gay, racist, communist and all this stuff, you're out on the Libertarian Party, why should you be in the party at this point? Because this is how we get Ross Ulbricht free. You join the LP, you continue to support it because we are the most powerful voting bloc in the country right now, and we are deciding what happens. I mean, that's awesome. Like, this is my perspective, let's take votes from Biden so we can free Ross Ulbricht, and then that's the Chad Chase supporter. And the Virgin Dave Smith says, I can't support this ticket, Well, find a creative way to support it. Continue to support the party at least, because we need your support to make this a really strong, powerful organization. Because right now we have a lot of political power and it's amazing. We are going to decide the fate of the next election. And I'm super stoked about it. And we are going to potentially get this man out of prison. Like if Donald Trump gets elected, I think he's going to free Ross. And I'm really pressing on him, and so are some other people, to free Julian Assange. People who are close to him, people who were involved in Julian Assange's extradition have had a change of heart, and I've heard them say it to his face. And I have had conversations with Donald Trump, more than one, face to face at this point. Angela, how could you betray us? I'm not, man. I am advancing libertarianism. I am supporting our party. I'm telling people to join our party. I'm telling people to vote for our candidates. And I'm doing political wheeling and dealing, which is exactly what I should be doing. I think probably some of you are a little bit shocked that we've made this much electoral progress in a year when we struggled financially. And it seemed like we were like a little bit aimless, and, you know, we didn't have our chosen candidate. Well, that's what I can do when things suck. That's my ability to spin straw into gold. So wait until things get awesome and see how incredibly powerful the Libertarian Party is going to be. Be a Chad. Join this party, continue to support this party so that we can continue to do more awesome stuff. Let's get the Department of Education abolished. Let's get a legit libertarian into the cabinet. This is totally within our ability to do. It is, if you don't want to do it, you are snatching defeat from the jaws of victory, because we are here. We are here, and I'm just going to go so hard between now and November. I know people are probably shocked that I'm saying some of this stuff. Well, I just got reelected, and I'm very emboldened at this point to continue doing the awesome things I have done. So get in, loser. We are stopping Joe Biden. And if you can't stand the heat, just get out of the clown car, get out of the clown car. But I do hope that you would get in this clown car and support Chase Oliver if you're in a blue state, and support the party no matter where you're at, because if you can just withstand a little bit of discomfort or do whatever it is you need to do, like, we're going to get Ross Ulbricht out of prison. And if you can't be just a little bit gay and a little bit woke, and fake it till you make it to get Ross out of prison, like, you don't deserve the credit. So please join my suicide squad. It is a shit-eating suicide mission, and I am 100% here for it. Join the party, help make the Trump campaign better by being a Libertarian Party dues-paying member and sending good feedback to them. If you're in a blue state, support the Chase Oliver campaign. Help us pull votes from the left for Chase Oliver. It's going to be awesome. He's way better than Biden. I don't want to hear it. You know he's better than Biden. No matter what your feelings are in any other respect, he is literally better than Biden. He's better than Jill Stein and Cornel West too, even though I love those people, but that's because Chase understands government spending is bad. So there you have it. That is my endorsement. Let's see. Oh, the comments. Take the Trump deal. Help the Trump campaign better. Get the fuck out of here. Well, I mean this in a strictly metaphorical sense, like those of you who are, and thank you so much. Thank you for paying. I really appreciate it. Those of you who are really angry, metaphorically die mad, strictly metaphorical sense. It's really great. It's really great. Dylan Griffin says, nah, but that's okay. Can't get them all. Support Chase in every state, all 50. Ryan Graham is not a fan of mine. Why are you so painfully aware of the one? Oh, I missed it. Scrolled. It's too fast. I can't catch them all. Can't catch them all. Move the convention to earlier than May in 2028. I would love to, and I advocated for it. But it's not up to me. State affiliates will flip out because some of them have to have their state conventions later. Very frustrating. Let's see. What are some other ones? Why taking shots at Dave Smith? LMAO. Because it's fun, and he can take it. He can take it. He is a tough guy. He's a tough guy. He would laugh at it, I hope. It's a meme. Repeat the election with majority vote. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we don't have the numbers to overturn the Chase election. Best way to support Angela is to support your state affiliate and work your way to the top. Absolutely. Absolutely true. Strategic with how we spend money. Yes. I have not thought that we were going to have 50 state ballot access this year because of the Kennedy campaign and because of the insane garbage New York ballot access laws. Larry Sharpe got them ballot access in 2018, and they raised the signature requirement to just an absurd amount. That I don't know, like it would cost us at least $500,000 to get ballot access in New York, and then it's not even confident that we retain it. So the New York government really sucks, and that is not anybody in the party's fault. It is not Chase's fault. It is not Larry Sharpe's fault. Like, New York government just sucks. I like that idea. I'll encourage left libertarians to vote for Chase Oliver. That's right. That's right. Complaints about Vivek Ramaswamy. Yeah, well, he's not perfect. But he's better than Mitch McConnell. So, credit where credit is due. Dude already knew about Ross. That is right. Yeah, so fun. Bravo, you took a chance and massively paid off. Thank you. And I gotta say, thank you so much to the people who supported me and helped me get reelected this term. I literally could not do it without you. This is a huge, multi-person effort. Hundreds of you, thousands of you supported the party. You supported me. You showed up at convention. You got me reelected. We have a Mises LNC majority again. We should also celebrate our wins. Everybody who's down on this ticket and because they don't like Chase, you have control of the party and you are potentially changing the course of history. So it's a huge win. It's a huge win. So hold your nose, hold your clown nose, and get on board. If libertarians put full support behind RFK, you'd actually have a chance to win the White House. Yeah. Oh, we froze. But he didn't campaign hard enough for us. So it is what it is. All right. I think I'm going to go out on being frozen. So thank you all so much for your support. Thank you for tuning in. You have your endorsement now. Some of you will cry. And some of you will join my suicide squad. Free Ross, free Assange. Thank you guys.